and welcome back to Lightworker Training. My name is Tatiana, and I'm so grateful to be joining with you today to get into mindset awareness. Yes, this is maybe my favorite chapter. So I'm excited because mindset is so powerful, and that is exactly what the topic of this video is today, the power of mindset. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so why is mindset so important? I could go on, but the easiest way to say it is that if you have an empowering mindset, and we can talk about what that is, but if you have an empowering mindset, anything is possible. But if you have a disempowering mindset, pretty much nothing is possible. I mean, things are possible, but it's so limited. And it's usually limited to ways of suffering to kind of wake you up, to get you back on track of what the helpful mindset is. So this is something that I share in these teachings over and over again, is that everything is here for our learning. And when we're having really painful experiences, that is for our learning too. So it's just showing us, the more painful it gets, the more possibility there is for us to just get so sick of it that we actually open up our minds and our hearts to receive another possibility. So that openness, that willingness to receive it is really, really empowering. There are a lot of different kinds of flavors of empowering mindsets. And if you think back to our principles, where I started laying out like the foundational knowledge, key principles of this work, one of the principles was, I believe it's in the video, light work versus dark work, but it's basically this framework that you can start to base your decisions on. So I could give you a list of, infinite ways. I couldn't actually give you an infinite list because I am not going to spend the rest of my life doing that. But you know what I mean? I could give you a huge list, or there could be a huge list of things that exist, all the different possibilities of how to specifically create an empowering mindset, or specifics of what an empowering mindset is. But you don't have to memorize a bunch of different terms. You can just go back to the basic principle of it's either light work or dark work, right? It's either in alignment with truth or it's in alignment with separation. Both of those things are helpful in the sense that they can both help you awaken to the truth. It's just that one path is way harder and will lead to a lot of suffering, and one is going to get you there faster. It's going to fast track. But really, we didn't come here to not experience anything dark, but we did, I feel, come here to remember the truth of ourselves, which is the light and the love of creation. So anything that's in alignment with that is going to create an empowering mindset. Anything that's not in alignment with that is going to create a disempowering mindset, and then that is going to put you in a place of extreme limitation and suffering. And as we mentioned, that is helpful in that the worse it gets, the more willing you may be to change it. So a little bit about mindset and my experience. I was able to advance through my studies of light work very, very quickly because I had an experience. Well, I had some kind of, you might want to call it a psychotic break or something like that, but I had some really intense experiences of like almost like a Kundalini awakening, a consciousness activation where I suddenly became very psychic. I could see that everything in this reality was a game, and I was very excited about that. I got kind of manic. I wasn't able to sleep. Um, very common symptoms of ascension symptoms, Kundalini syndrome type symptoms. Yeah, so I had had that happen in the past, but I didn't really have a real knowingness of myself as the light and the love of creation. Um, that kind of psychic shift definitely opened up something. And I believe that is what allowed me to have this deeper experience that I had in the beginning of 2007 when I was in the hospital. I had an experience of myself as pure light, pure consciousness, and pure power. And I believe that that is what healed my body, and I was able to come back and be here in my body today. So I describe all that in my book, and so you maybe have already read that, but the reason why I advanced very quickly in my lightwork studies after that, and I began my formal training in 2008, and I was very serious about it. I still am very, very serious. Can't you tell? Because I'm laughing. I'm very serious. But I practiced very intensively and very diligently, and I still do. I did this, but I was, even with all of that, I advanced very quickly through the programs that I was in, and was able to extrapolate the information that I received because I already had the mindset. So a lot of people that were in those classes with me or clinics or things like that that I did, they hadn't had that experience of themselves as pure light and power and love, and they didn't, it was like a near death experience that I had. So I wasn't, well, I've never really been afraid of death, but I, I knew that everything was okay. I knew that I was okay. I knew that I could heal anything. So I already had this knowingness through this experience. It was a very, very painful experience, very horrific experience. But that was the experience that I used. I don't know, like maybe I needed it, maybe I planned it. I do tend to think that there is a plan that our souls have for us, or that the oversoul has for us, and we're just here acting it out. And we do have choices, and it takes as long as it takes for us to go through all of our earth school lessons. But in that really intense experience, what happened is all the blocks to knowing the truth of myself were burned away. So that's why it's important to recognize when people are having hardship, not to judge it and say like, oh, you're fucked. That's not really helpful. The most helpful thing is to add the intention that they have, what it takes, and see them as having this tremendous opportunity, because that's what it was for me. It was a huge opportunity. It was, like I said, absolutely horrific, excruciatingly painful, and uh, stuff got burned away in that process. So you don't have to have a really intense experience like that. I mean, sometimes it helps, but you don't have to have that kind of experience. But you do have to clear anything that doesn't allow you to know the truth of yourself. You want to clear these blocks to the knowingness, right? So to get to that place of knowing, we have to undo all of this social conditioning and all of the layers of crap that have been piled on top. And the way that we can do that is through the consistent application of our will. Our will is absolutely required, and if we apply it consistently and with that conviction and strength, and I'm doing this, boom, then that is enough to clear these blocks and get to that place of knowing the truth of ourselves. Yes, and it's often in those times of the darkest nights of the soul that we'll be closest to those breakthrough moments where we're like, oh my God, I see it. We have an experience of what's called gnosis, or direct knowing of something, direct knowing of ourselves, of the nature of reality, things like that. Very, very powerful, and can help you to have a very powerful mindset. But you don't have to go through some really, really intense initiation. You can do it gradually through the application of your will. It just takes a little bit longer. And eventually you'll probably have some kind of crisis help you break through. But most of the people I know who come to be on a spiritual path, they come from a life of hardship. And so it helps. It definitely helps to get you there faster. All right. So what do I want to talk about? Okay. So willingness is key. Having a really powerful mindset is key. Willingness is key to be able to get to that powerful mindset, to choose that mindset. Mindset is something that you actually choose. Having things be really shitty helps you to choose it. But also just applying your will consistently and seeing the results. Like, wow, every time I do this, I get a positive result. Every time I do this, I get a horrible result. Like, maybe I'll do more of that. So the mindset is key. Let's talk about this. Mindset is key. Why? Because the mental level is the causal level. Okay, so it is the cause of what we see manifested as effects in the world of form. It starts with a thought. So you can think about it this way. I'll talk a little bit about the process of manifestation in a minute, but I want to share this with you so that you can start to be aware of what mindset you're creating with, because every thought is creating something. What are we creating? Okay, so you can think about it this way. So pure spirit comes in and it's like a light, right? And it's just shining on everything equally. It's shining through everything. It's shining through. You can think of all these thoughts, right? You can think of this as your lens, right? The light comes through, it shines through the lens of perception. And through that lens, it projects out things into the field of consciousness. It projects your thoughts out into the field of creation. Then the field of creation is going to ripple that out into the field of creation. It's going to create something, and then you're going to experience the effects of that creation, right? So you've got pure spirit, then you've got the mental level with all your thoughts. So as that light of spirit shines through your thoughts, which are like lenses, right? It's going to project that out into the field of creation. So what are these thoughts that you're illuminating with pure spirit, right? Your spirit, the spirit of creation. So these perceptual lenses are thoughts. So it could be interpretations. That's a thought. How you interpret things is a thought. Your assumptions are thoughts. Your beliefs are thoughts. So like the example I was giving before, where somebody's having a really hard time. So are you going to project this thought? Maybe the thought is, wow, they're totally screwed. So you're going to project that thought of they don't have what it takes. They're suffering. They're, maybe they are suffering, but things are really bad. This is bad. This is wrong. Suffering is wrong. So you're projecting all these thoughts, right? Because you have a judgment. Your perceptual lens is one of judgments and beliefs that suffering is wrong. So then that goes out into the field of creation. So they could be influenced by that if they don't have the awareness to send that back. But whether they do or not, the field of creation is going to bring that back around to you so that you can have an experience of suffering being wrong. Right? So when you have an experience of suffering being wrong and being screwed and all this other stuff, then that's very painful, but it's helpful in the sense that it's showing you through the pain that you've made this choice to align with something that's not true. So pain is always a wrong perspective. Pain is always the result of something getting off track, and the pain is helping you to be aware that, oh, damn, I put my powerful spiritual energy into this curse, into this psychic attack. So an unloving thought is a psychic attack. An unloving thought is a curse. An unloving thought is black magic. So that's fine. That's your prerogative to create that. You create that, you will have that experience. And that experience will give you more information. So it's like a little feedback loop, right? You're putting things out, then you're having that experience, then you learn about who you are and the power of your mind. Eventually. A lot of folks don't appear to be awake in Earth School right now. You might be taking this semester off. But eventually, this is what we all have to learn. So what you need to know about these perceptions and thoughts and things like that is like, it would be great to get to a place where you're not having all these thoughts. And that is certainly something that you can practice. Practice clearing your mind of thoughts. And we're going to get into some techniques for that. Actually, I gave you a technique in last chapter, the Foundations of Healing, in that playlist, part 2 playlist. There is a video called Importance of Presence, something like that, where I give a tool called Present Moment Awareness. And you can also find it on my Odyssey channel. I have a bunch of free guided meditations that will walk you through a process and teach you some of these tools. So that one is called A Process for Sorting Energy. We'll do it again and again as we go through this class. What was I getting to? Oh, sorry, it's not a process for sorting energy. Sorry. That one's on my mind for a different reason. It's called Present Moment Awareness. It's called Present Moment Awareness. And in that exercise, I have you hold 4 points of focus to be able to shut off the mind, to give the mind something to do so that it's not thinking thoughts. So instead, it's really focused on just experiencing the feelings and the sensory awareness of being in the present moment. Okay, so clearing the mind of all thoughts is something that you can certainly work toward, and it's very, very helpful. But you can also think of it this way. Hold on, I'm going to get a drink of water. Right. So you can also think of it this way, that the clearer the lens, the clearer the picture, right? The clearer the perception of reality. So when you're projecting all of these thoughts and beliefs and judgments, then what you see is pretty chaotic. There's a lot of clutter. There's a lot of crap kind of overlaying reality. It's like you're projecting your own shit on top of reality, on top of other people, whatever situations. So the clearer your lens, so the fewer judgments, the fewer assumptions, the fewer foregone conclusions and beliefs and things like that, judgments that we have about things, all the meanings, all the stories, all this bullshit. Everywhere where we're defending against all of our beliefs and stories. The less of that you have, then the more clearly you're able to see, perceive, and receive reality and the truth that's written on everything. The truth is there being communicated to you 24/7. Your spiritual guidance is live streaming 24/7. Everything is singing this song of creation, and it's just about tuning yourself to hear it, to receive it. It's also about clearing all the clutter that doesn't allow you to see it. So you can have a really horrific near-death experience, or you can just learn some of these tools that I'm going to be sharing with you to clear the clutter. So you could just start doing that now by just choosing. Nope, I'm not going to activate that thought. I'm not going to activate that thought. Oh, I think I'll activate this thought. So you can at least start to replace less helpful beliefs with more helpful beliefs. Get you closer, because sometimes when you're way over here, it's a little bit of a leap to get to a place of like no beliefs. Eventually, I think it'd be great to get to a place of no beliefs, because we don't have to have beliefs. Beliefs are just made up. But if you do have beliefs, you want to be sure that those beliefs are actually helping you to get to where you want to go, right? So just know that with these lenses, you will always see what you want to see, right? Based on your perceptions. So these lenses, what you're saying to the universe is that this is what you want to see. This is what you believe in, so this is what you want to see. When you project through that lens, then you will see that. That is what you will see. And then you will be affirmed in your belief. You will always be affirmed in your beliefs. So these beliefs, because they color your experience so intensely, you want to be sure that you're having beliefs that will give you the experience that you'd like to have. So it's up to you. What kind of experience do you want to have? Okay. Okay, so just a quickie note about how manifestation works. I've talked about this before, but basically you've got pure spirit, right? That's just illuminating everything, right? Giving life to everything. And then the mental level is the causal level where we start to create something in the field of creation, where we start to create something in the world of form, where we start to create something like an emotional response, right? And from that emotional response, we might create a behavior, right? So pure spirit, pretty neutral, right? Now the mental level is where we start making these choices. It reminds me of the tarot card for Gemini, which is the first sign where the mind starts to differentiate, right? And as the mind differentiates, there's choices Am I going to go this way or that way? So that card, the Lover's card, it shows a forking path. And so there's a choice there. There's pure spirit, and then there's the woman and the man. So there's this division, right? This way or that way, this binary thing, right? So pure spirit comes in, then there's a choice point. This is where the power is. The choice. Which way are you going to go? You going to go love or you going to go fear? You going to go trust or you going to go control? Right? So based on that choice, there will be a response. Then that response gives you more information. Does it feel good? Probably going to lead you in the correct path. Does it feel bad? Probably not going to lead you in the correct path. And, I don't think of anger as a negative emotion. I think anger is a creative energy. So I'm just saying, I might have a different perception about what emotions I consider negative and what ones I consider positive. The Hawkins scale is really cool. The Hawkins scale of consciousness is very cool for thinking about the flavor or the quality, frequency of different kinds of thoughts. Different kinds of feelings. Okay, so you've got pure spirit, then the thought comes and starts to direct the energy. This is how we direct the energy of pure spirit. This is our intention. This is our focus. This is how we focus that beam of light like a laser or like a broad brushstroke. You can focus it however you want, or don't focus it. Let it just be chaos, right? So then you'll get the emotional feedback, and then that will inspire a physical action or a physical manifestation in the world of form. Maybe a physical illness or symptom in the body. Okay? So that is just in a nutshell how manifestation works. So there's a top-down influencing that happens. And that's why there are so many things in the world that seek to influence our minds. It's either program or be programmed by the influencers. Either you are influencing the field of creation or you're being influenced. Check out my video, Program or Be Programmed. I think that's in the principles in part 1. I just wanted to read you a little bit from chapter 3, Mindset Awareness, in my book, Lightworker Training, A Practical Guide to Healing with Energy and Consciousness. This is from chapter 3. It's a section called the causal level. The mental level is also known as the causal level because all things that manifest spring from a thought. First, we have an idea, then we feel an emotional response, and then there is a corresponding physical response. Ideas are the cause of the effects we see in the world of form. Everything you see in the human-made world began as an idea in someone's imagination. And you could even say that everything you see in the natural world began as an idea in God's imagination. That is why it's so important to fully grasp the power of your mind and how to work with it effectively. Your thoughts create reality. That is also why we are beginning our exploration of Lightworker training with consciousness tools and not energy work. So this is not what I was taught. I'm just throwing in a side note here. But this is what I added to all the different modalities that I was taught. I added the consciousness piece with the energy work piece, because you have to have both. Okay, so back to the text. Energy work deals with symptoms, correcting things that have already manifested in the energy field or physical body, right? So when we're doing energy work, sorry, I just keep interrupting. We're dealing with symptoms, right? Okay, I'm just going to read and shut up. Consciousness work, on the other hand, involves cultivating awareness to make corrections at the causal level of mind. Energy work tools are helpful to clean up the effects of what has already been created from past thoughts, but conscious awareness is essential to creating new mindsets, choosing new thoughts, and manifesting new patterns. If you think about it, all healing happens at the level of the mind, because true healing is creating a shift at the root cause, not just treating symptoms. If everything that manifests proceeds from a thought, the mind is the only thing there is to heal. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it there for today and come back with more on mindset awareness and some mental tools, consciousness tools that is the absolutely essential foundation of all of our practices. So I hope this has been helpful. And if you have questions or comments, drop them below. Or if you need help with anything, please feel free to get in touch for sessions. I have lots of resources as well on lightworkertraining.org. If you want to hop into an on-demand class, I have those. And I will be teaching a live course in the spring on this material. So I would love it if you hop in with me. And in the meantime, practice, and I'll see you next time on Lightworker Training. Bye for now.